What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another Friday night. You on live with your boys, the Play Callers. So y'all know it's your boy Stephen Box, joined as always by my co-host,
It's your boy Cool McCain.
and of course, as always, I just want to go ahead and start off by throwing it out there. If you are joining us live tonight, please make sure you smash that like button. Let YouTube know this is the place to be, and then go and hit that subscribe button. And while you're there, you might as well go ahead and share with somebody also. If you are joining us listening in on the podcast and you would like to join us live and interact with us on Friday nights at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can do so at playcolorsportstalk.com/live. So cool. Got some big stuff going on, man.
We do.
A
But
whole lot
first,
going on this week.
we need to remind all of our community, if you're purchasing items through Fanatics, whether that be for your team that's still in the NFL playoffs, which there's two teams, of course, or whether that's NBA, whoever, make sure you use the link playcolorsportstalk.com/fanatics. Any other discounts that you have will not be affected, but your boys here will get a small kickback that'll help us for the betterment of the Play Color Sports Talk Show.
Absolutely, and there's a few other things down there. I know we do have quite a few other streamers who actually do tune into our channel as well. So there's some links down there for various programs to help you take your streams to the next level. So make sure you check those out in the description as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, let's go ahead and jump into this. And obviously, the first thing that we should probably talk about is the big news from the week. I think. Well, a lot of people say it's big news. Let's talk about if we think it's big news. That would be Tom Brady officially retiring. He says for good. Big news, not so big news. What you think?
Not so big news. If you want me to consider this to be big news, let's wait until training camps have begun. Then I'll have a semblance of belief that this may actually be the end of Mr. Tom's journey. Until then, it's funny how it's kind of mirrors each other, right? Last year around this time, we were talking the same thing, but it was reports. But the fact of the matter simply is, he finds a way to be the attention whore in this 2-week period between the championship game and the Super Bowl. Past 2 years, and he hasn't been in it. So, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not in his mind believing right now that he's retired, but I'm saying that we've already seen this song and dance last year. You fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, I can't put the blame on you. I'm not allowing you to fool me twice, Mr. Brady. Because I believe the team that this gentleman over here is wearing will lure you out of your retirement before the season starts next year.
So last year, I was one of the few people who was like, this dude's not retiring. Everybody kept telling me I was crazy. That there's no way this dude's not gonna stay retired and his family and all this other stuff. But I just had that feeling, man. I'm getting a different vibe this year. Is it possible? I certainly wouldn't rule it out, right? I mean, especially maybe he gets the whole off season to kind of, recover a little bit, get better. Maybe, reports start surfacing if Trey Lance isn't doing that great. 49ers might reach out to him. He might say, hey, you know what, man, I really didn't want to, but I can't pass up the opportunity. That could happen. But I think he's retired for good. Barring something crazy happen, I actually think he really is done. I think he has an awareness of the fact that, you don't want to end up like Brett Favre. Right? You keep retiring and unretiring, and yeah, just at some point, man, people, they stop. And I mean, I don't know if you listened to his watched his little video or not. That he actually
I saw his
did.
Visine tier video.
But
Yes.
he did make a comment that he kind of acknowledged himself, like, "Look, man, I get it. Like, you can only get one emotional goodbye, and I used mine up last year." So I think he does have an awareness of it. But time will tell. I'm on the I think he is retired bandwagon this year.
Good for you.
But you know what, man? I didn't give him an emotional goodbye last year. I'm not going to this year either. Because although I do believe he will stay retired, you're not getting the not getting roses from me, sir, just to take them back. It's not happening.
And roses really smell like boo boo anyway. So
This is true. This is true. According to Outcast. So yeah, man. So speaking of the team I'm wearing, uh, they were involved in a game last week, if you want to call it that. And there was another game on the other side of the NFL over in the AFC. So let's talk about those two games. So, obviously, man, start with our game. A little bit disappointing, right? We didn't get the game that we were promised. We didn't get the game that we thought we were going to get. And, you know, for me, obviously, as a 49ers fan, it's extremely frustrating that we lost both of our quarterbacks in that game. That, Brock pretty much had to come back into the game, which we could talk about here in a minute if you like. But the NFL's refusal to allow for a real emergency quarterback to be on rosters, it's something that a lot of people are now speaking up about. Which where were y'all the last 12, 13 years since this actually went away? Now y'all want to bring it up, but y'all been quiet for like 12 years. Okay, I got you. Um, but unfortunately, man, just injuries are a part of the game. It happens. I know there's a lot of 49ers fans out there running around saying that it was a dirty hit and all this kind of stuff. I don't feel that way. I don't think there was a dirty hit. I don't think there was any intention behind it. I think he was trying to swipe the ball. That's why he drove his arm backwards. It's just that unfortunately, it worked out timing wise where his arm was in perfectly in that position where that was the absolute worst thing that could happen. Josh Johnson, I'm not even sure that dude really got a concussion. He might have faked it. He looks scared. He looks scared out there, bro. He looks so scared. But I do just want to say this real quick in regards to our game. We didn't really get a chance to see who the better team was for 60 minutes. But y'all went out and you did your thing. You know, I feel like most people understand why we lost the game. But credit to the Philadelphia Eagles. You didn't take your foot off the gas. You did what you had to do. You went out there, you won the game, you punched your ticket to the Super Bowl. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't expect y'all to stop and feel bad for us because we lost both of our quarterbacks. So congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Wish y'all the best of luck in the Super Bowl. And to those people in the media, especially those New York media people that suggested that Brock Purdy was faking it and that he gave up on his team, you can go screw yourselves. I'll just leave it at that.
So I want to start by saying to those 49ers fans and fans of other teams who have attempted to say that either hit that Reddick put out was a malicious hit, you are trash, not trash, trash. Trayche, trash. If you can't put aside your fandom or your Eagles hate and just acknowledge, what really happened was, unfortunately, hits happen. It's a violent sport. Unfortunately, Purdy, was injured on one play, and then Johnson got injured with his head hit the ground. He at least got pulled out of the game for it. I'll leave my co-host to expound on his feelings about him being trash and not coming back in the game. But what I would say is stay classy, right? The Philadelphia Eagles, all the fans that I've talked to, all the fans and all the fans I post, celebrating the win, not running around talking about, blah, 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 and all that track. Because here's the simple fact. Yeah, we beat the 49ers. Yeah, they had injuries. It is what it is. But here's the simple fact. It's not over. We lose next week. It was all for naught. What's up, Coach Dante? Appreciate you checking in with us. And I want everybody to just understand. This is real simple. My co-host does not believe in this. A lot of people don't believe in this. You put your stuff on the Rocky statue, you lose the game. In the playoffs, that's what happens. Teams get arrogant. Fans get arrogant. It is what it is. But to wrap it up, because I'm not going to sit here and try to bloviate or pump my chest because we won a playoff game. Not a Super Bowl, but a playoff game. It's a playoff game. So I'm glad we were able to go out and get a win. It's unfortunate the 49ers had some injuries. But, we did what we needed to do. We punched our ticket, but now there's still a little bit more left. So I'm hoping beyond hope that we can stay focused as a fan base, not get too out of control, and let's drive this team to hopefully championship number 5, Super Bowl number 2. Fly, Eagles, fly.
So, yes, I do not believe in the Rocky statue. Even still, I do not believe in the Rocky statue. It started off as a Rocky statue. Then when I started pointing out that, we beat y'all last year, despite the fact doing stuff to the Rocky statue, all of a sudden it became only a playoff thing.
Well, if you actually look at the stat, I can pull it up for you if you'd like. That was part of the original stat. But we were talking which sometimes happens in conversations when you're talking, the word gets left out. But hey, if you want to try to, pull that card, hey, I really don't care. It's factual. You can look it up. Undefeated in the playoffs. So however you want to try to spin that, it's what it is, and it will continue.
Also three games, pretty small sample size. But hey, you guys believe whatever you want to believe. I will say this:
we've only been to the playoffs and had a home playoff game 3 times in the last 5 years.
I will say this: you also have to acknowledge the fact that this was really about the injuries.
I don't have to acknowledge that, sir. No.
Hold on. Hear me out.
No, I don't have to acknowledge that. I don't have to acknowledge that.
You acknowledge whatever you want. I don't care about you personally.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If whoever has the 49ers voodoo doll out there could please put it away, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Well, man, you don't want to acknowledge Rocky. I don't have to acknowledge your so-called voodoo doll. I think injuries happen, and you're just a team that has a lot of injuries. It's been something that's been happening consistently.
The universe caused both my quarterbacks to get hurt and knocked out of the game because we put a jersey on the Rocky statue. That's what we're going with. Okay.
No, that's not what we're going with.
Got you.
I said that to you before the game, before any of the injuries. You were going to lose either way because of what you did. It's unfortunate for you that your quarterbacks got knocked out due to injuries. But you already had put negative juju on yourself facing us because of what your fans did.
I'm not convinced that you guys win that game if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt.
Of course you're not convinced. You're a 49ers fan. There's no 49ers fan in the world that's going to say, we would have won the game if Brock Purdy didn't get hurt. Of course you don't.
Yeah, we had y'all in check, man. It was
funny how we were up when Brock Purdy went down, but we're not going to talk about that, right?
Yeah. What's that?
Funny how we were up when Brock Purdy went down. We're not going to talk about that, right?
You were only up 7-0, sir.
But we were up where we're not.
That was only on. And we all know the reason y'all were up 7-0. But again, that's on my coach for not challenging the play. I'm not blaming y'all for that.
Cry.
I just crying would be crying, sir. I'm not.
Well, if you continually bringing it up, then it's funny to me how people want to bring it up and then say, "I'm just saying it's on such." Well, then why keep bringing it up?
If you gonna brag about being up, if you gonna brag about being up 7-0, I'm gonna bring it up.
I'm not bragging.
Otherwise, I wasn't going to.
Is that not a fact? Were we up 7-0 when he got hurt? Were we not?
But you're like pointing out like it
Answer the question. Answer the question. Were we not up?
Yeah, you were up.
Okay,
Big
that's
deal.
all I'm saying.
Big deal. You were up 7-0.
And you feel like you would have won. Big deal. And you feel like you would have won. Big deal.
Ooh, 7-0.
You didn't.
You guys are blowing us out there.
Hey, take your L, man. Be classy. Don't go back on all the fake classy stuff you said earlier. Take your L, bro. You got an L.
I've already told you.
Yeah, but then you keep coming back with other stuff. You're not really accepting the L. You keep making excuses. Take the L and let's move on.
I told you already. I said it at the
Take the L, bro.
beginning. The
Yeah, but then
reason
you
we
come
lost
back
was
and you
the
say,
injuries.
but you keep, yeah, right, the injuries.
I
You
told you
won't
that at the
acknowledge that
beginning.
Philadelphia was a good team, but that's cool. I don't
Y'all
need
are
you
a
to
good
acknowledge
team.
anything.
Y'all are a good team.
You lost. It is what it is.
Yeah,
You can make
y'all
up
are a
all the
good team.
excuses you want, but you lost.
Like I said, y'all are a good team. I don't take that away from you.
Oh, but just
But
not as good as the 49ers. Man, get out of here with that trash. You lost, and you were going to lose either way. Let's be real about it. I've been
I
nice
don't
and humble
believe
to
that.
you guys long enough. Of course you don't. Nobody
I
in the
don't
San
believe that.
Francisco fan base does, but everybody else knows. You know what I'm saying?
No,
But it's
apparently
cool.
not, man. Apparently not everybody else knows.
Okay.
Because nobody believes in y'all, right?
They don't
And
believe
they
we're
would
going
have
to
been hearing
beat.
from months that nobody believes in y'all.
They don't believe that we're going to beat Patrick Mahomes. No, they don't. They don't believe you were either if you won the game. And have I not been saying that? Oh, but we're gonna gloss over that. Of course. Whoever came out of the NFC, people were not going to believe in because the narrative is that the NFC is weak. There's not any good teams.
Well, you know
That's
what,
been the
man?
narrative all year.
I'm just gonna end it like this, bro. Like I said, we didn't get a chance to find out who really could or couldn't win. It's all good. Like I said, y'all went out, you handled your business. Congratulations. Enjoy your Super Bowl. Good luck to you. I don't know the exact date yet because the schedule's not out. But we do have a date in Philadelphia with the Philadelphia Eagles next year. Looking so forward to it. Looking so forward to it.
Well, I'm glad you're looking forward to next year. I'm looking forward to next weekend.
We'll enjoy next weekend, man.
I definitely will.
Wish you guys the best.
I definitely will.
So let's talk about the other side. Let's talk about the team that you're going to be facing. The Kansas City Chiefs. They played the Cincinnati Bengals last week. A little controversy in that game.
A lot of controversy.
Yeah, a lot of controversy in that game.
Actually.
So, what are your thoughts? Because, there was some complaints about some of the officiating in our game. But by comparison, our game was like extremely well called.
Yeah, in comparison, it was an excellently called game that we had. I think, I honestly think, and I don't know if you saw, but Arian Foster, I got to see a clip of it, but I didn't get to see the whole thing. Arian Foster claims that games are rigged, and winners and matchups are rigged. So for me, I felt like when we won the game, that there was about a 90 to 95% probability that we were going to be playing Kansas City, which is the matchup I picked to begin with. But I had a feeling that was going to happen come hell or high water, just because it's intriguing football. It's great to watch. Now, let's keep in mind, we talked about earlier in the year, how the NFL now can kind of, do some things with games. They can fix games to an extent because they've put themselves in a position to be able to do that. This is the best example for anyone who has that argument that I think I've seen all season, except for games that Tom Brady played in up until the game against the Cowboys. I think Tom Brady's always gotten a lot of calls. A lot of things have been changed because of him, but a lot of calls that went Kansas City's way consistently in that game. If I'm a Bengals fan, I'm going to take it because a lot of mistakes were made, like just silly mental mistakes. But being in that game until the end with the way the officiating was going, and I think that they'd lean toward Mahomes due to the ankle injury. They wanted to see him have a quote-unquote fair shake at winning the game. But I really, really believe that the better team didn't win. And the reason I say the better team didn't win in the game is because if the team has to beat the officials and you're probably not the better team. If you're the better team, it wouldn't take that. Now, there is an argument that a Kansas City Chiefs fan could make, and it's a fair argument that I will accept. They were down 3 wide receivers. The best receiver they had still playing was Montez Valdez-Scantling. When that's your best receiver, things are going bad for you. So I think that Kelce, of course, did what Kelce does. But I think as they were constructed with the injured wide receivers, they weren't the better team. I really feel bad for the kid who pushed Mahomes out of bounds. You can't make that mistake. You have to call that if it's made. There is no situation where that wasn't the right call. We can argue about a lot of the other calls being questionable, being 50-50 and always going the Chiefs' way, but you cannot make that play in that position and not expect it to be called. That led to the field goal at the end of the game. We go to overtime. I don't think it really ends any differently, to be honest, because Burrow was being abused. And I said before the game, he was going to be abused because his line is not good.
Yeah.
But I think after the injuries, they were the better team. But just a lot of mistakes, frustration with some of the calls that didn't go their way. And hey, I'm an Eagles fan. So there's been a lot of games in the past that haven't gone our way. That a lot of the calls go against us. To this day, anytime a flag is thrown, I'm always like, oh, is it on us? It doesn't matter if I see like a holding or a pass interference on the other team. I still sit there and say, are they going to call something on us? That's how much calls have went against us. So I understand it does happen.
You must have been in absolute shock on that one series against us then.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, there was a lot of times I was just like, every time a flag was thrown, I was like, oh, we about to move backwards. We about to move backwards. Like, literally, I'm sitting in the bar watching the games with 49ers fans and Eagles fans. The 49ers fans are laughing because they're like, this is crazy. Because all the Eagles fans is like, it's probably going to be on us. It's probably going to be on us. And when they weren't, we were like, what?
Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing, man. So I'll point out a couple things here. The NFL needs to make some changes here, right? I mean, and I don't know exactly what the solution is, but the problem is you're putting defenders in bad positions. Going back a couple weeks ago to when we played Dallas, remember there was a play where Armstead had Dak Prescott for a safety, had him dead to rights, and he pulled up because he was scared that he was going to get a flag.
Mm.
And this past week against y'all, there was a play where we made a very smart play, and the fact that Jalen Hurts was running towards the sideline, and rather than hitting him, we just kind of angled off where he really couldn't come back in and go anywhere. But if Jalen Hurts had wanted to, he could have easily just turned back in field, ran into the defender, and probably managed to pick up an extra yard or two by making that contact. And that's the Patrick Mahomes play is basically what that was, right? Where he's running, you think he's going out of bounds, but you don't know for sure. And what happens if he doesn't? Now all of a sudden he turns back in. What if you completely pull up and you're at a bad angle, and now all of a sudden this dude cuts back in? Now, in that particular instance, it probably wasn't as big of a deal because he probably really wasn't going to put too much of a move on you with that ankle.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree that you can't make that play if you're that young man. But at the same time, this is the position NFL players get put in now.
Mm-hmm.
And are you telling me that against a healthy Patrick Mahomes, a healthy Jalen Hurts, a healthy Lamar Jackson, you telling me that that's not a serious disadvantage for any defender? It absolutely is. And I get the need to protect these players, these quarterbacks, but at the same time, we gotta not make it to where, like, if you're gonna say basically like a quarterback starts to slide, that's basically them giving themselves up. So maybe the solution is you say that if a quarterback starts running towards out of bounds, that he's basically giving himself up. And if he tries to cut back in, then it's the yards don't count or something. I don't know how you do that, but
Well, I think for me, the bigger issue is overall, I think we actually need a full-time referee staff, right, for professional football. So we have other leagues in the offseason, XFL now, Major League Football, USFL. Why can't we not have a consistent group of referees that go and coach and ref in these leagues, right? So that way they have continual experience playing. Obviously, the rules might be different between the leagues, but you're working year-round. You're getting your training every year before you go to each individual league, but you're staying doing the job. So that way your senses are there. You're kind of ready to play. You're looking forward to it. You're just like a player. You're in your mid-season form when the season starts for the NFL. I think another thing, too, is in that particular situation, I'm not counting all situations. I hear what you're saying, but when you see it's all about, all you have to do is just swerve a little bit and don't put your arms out. If he just runs and doesn't put his arms out, there's no penalty in that particular play. And if he cut back in, you still had the angle on him. So I think the players have to be a little bit smarter, too.
Yeah.
I understand the angle. I wouldn't even be mad if, like, he ran and he just ran into him and he fell. But when you extend your arms and push, that's going to get called on you. I think if you just run through him and you happen to bump him on the way out of bounds, I don't think it's called. But when you extend the arms, it's going to be called 10 times out of 10.
I mean, I agree with you, and that's why I actually brought up the play where we actually kind of angled Jalen Hurts off, where
Yeah.
because that's what we did. We basically
Hmm.
we stopped like 2-3 yards shy of even getting near him, but we like kept that angle where like he couldn't cut back in.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just one of those things. Like it's just really difficult. I mean, but you have to be smart as a defender. Now, I will say this: you're talking about we need full time officials, and I don't have a problem with that, but I do want to point this out. So I just looked this up while you were talking. We don't know exactly, but the estimates is that the average NFL referee makes about $205,000 a year. There's a lot of people who are making a living, not having any other jobs, making way less than $205,000 a year. So you're basically a full time employee in my eyes. It's time for you to stop acting like you are paid minimum wage to do this job. Because that's what they be acting like. Every time that they try to get these fools to do anything, like any kind of additional training, they be acting like they minimum wage employees, man. It's nonsense and poppycock.
I'll tell you this. We talked about it before. The guys that hold the flags for the first down, they make like $80,000 a year. I need to find out where I can apply because I have no problem doing that job anywhere. You understand me? Any game, call me. I can hold a flag and run in a straight line out and stick that flag down to see if that ball's correct or not.
All day, bro.
All day. And I think they make like $80,000.
Yeah,
right.
You could basically put me. I'll do I'll do all the Thursday night games.
Man,
y'all know how bad those are.
Bro, you can give me the daggone Cleveland Browns games, the Houston Texas games. You know what I'm saying? The Colts games. You can take the worst teams in the league. You could take the 18 games that you think are going to be the worst, and you could say you're going to have to do those games. Cool. Fly me, put me in a hotel. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah. I mean, man, I feel bad for Bengals fans, but I want to point this out. Everyone says, "Oh, they wanted the Chiefs to win. They wanted Patrick Mahomes to win. They wanted Andy Reid versus the Eagles." And you know what? Maybe they did. I mean, I find it kind of convenient that, the 49ers got flagged on like every single snap just about right after we went and tied the game up because they were like, they're not going to win without Brock Purdy. You got to make sure they don't win this game. But you know what, man? Here's the thing. As fans, we look at that kind of stuff and we think like, they're doing this, they're trying to stop us. And by the way, if the NFL was basically trying to cheat to help you make sure that you won that game against us, I don't even have a problem with it, bro, because we had no chance. With no quarterback. Like that was just ridiculous.
I feel like
that was just ridiculous. Like I wouldn't even blame them.
I feel like in that particular game, there were a couple calls you're like, But I feel like it's just a little bit of home cooking, right? I mean, I say this all the time. If you're at home and a call is 50-50, it should go to the home team. If I'm on the road and those calls go against me, I say, hey, that sucks. But that's the benefit of being at home.
Yeah.
So I always believe if you have the home team and they get a couple more calls, I'm good with that. Right. Now, if we're talking about a lot of like roughing the passers, a lot of like just PIs and just like loads and loads of foolishness, like what happened with the Bengals and some of those things,
yeah,
I get it. But I feel like if you get more calls at home, that should be the norm. It really hasn't been lately for the most part. I feel like it was for us, but for the most part, it hasn't been lately. And I think that we need to get back to that piece as well. Of the home team, the home field needs to mean something, whether it's regular season, whether it's the Super Bowl, or it's the playoffs. You should get the 50-50 calls. You should be getting the other team should be scrutinized a little bit more if you're at home.
So, but here's the point I wanted to make for Bengals fans out there. yes, there was some very, very questionable calls in that game, and there's no doubt that y'all got screwed over on some of them.
Mm-hmm.
What did you expect? You have been running around bad mouthing and bashing the NFL for 3 weeks. What did you think was going to happen? It's not because they wanted the Chiefs. It's not because they wanted Patrick Mahomes. It's not because they wanted the Eagles and the Chiefs. They're not mad about any of that. They punished the Bengals because you were popping off at the mouth. Next
They were doing
time,
that.
do your coin flip and keep your mouth shut.
They were doing that. That's true. A whole lot of that.
Yeah, you bit the hand that feeds you and it bit back.
And then the Burrowhead Stadium thing, that didn't help
Yeah.
you out either.
No. So, again, Bengals fans, just stop complaining about it. You did it to yourself. I'm not denying that the referee screwed you over, but you brought it down on your own heads. I'm sorry.
In the words of Vince McMahon, I didn't screw over the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals screwed over the Cincinnati Bengals.
So, Rod Uncensored Podcast says the Patriots going to make the AFC Championship game next year. I mean, if they buy tickets.
All I can say is that comment is trash. Trash.
Sorry, Rod. We appreciate you tuning in, man.
Definitely.
I can't that one. I just can't.
Now, if the Patriots were to go out and get another quarterback, because either one of us, you can go back and check our resumes from the draft and before. We're not high on Mac Jones, and he has done nothing to prove us wrong. You go and get our better quarterback. You go bring Tom Brady back. Maybe we can talk, right? If you go trade for Derek Carr, you might be better off. But if you're going to keep Mac Jones, bro, I don't see how you expect that to happen unless y'all going to start dropping some money back into the referees' pockets like y'all used to do back in the day. Start cheating again and shooting stuff from all the different angles and, deflating balls and all that. You might have an opportunity then. But with everything equal, I don't see that, my dude. All jokes aside.
Yeah. I mean, man, we'll see. I mean, obviously we got an off season to go through. We'll see what kind of moves they make or whatever. And make sure you actually tune in when we're doing the previews for next season. And just a little plug for a couple of months from now, we will be again doing the live draft show that we do every single year. So make sure you tune in for that. And we'll be talking about the good moves that the Patriots make during that. So assuming
I just
they make good moves,
I just want to say that.
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I just want to say what I say every year. If you want a good laugh at my expense, go back to the draft that we drafted Jalen Reagor and just watch me. The level of distraught that I had, I don't even remember Jalen Hurts getting picked by us. I did say that I thought he would be the best quarterback out of that group, and everyone laughed at me. Me and Skip, we said that. Everyone laughed at us, but lo and behold, who's the only one that's been an MVP candidate taking his team to the Super Bowl? So y'all eat a slice of humble pie for not acknowledging my assessment. But again, I wasn't able to really enjoy the pick until later on because I was very distraught due to us wasting a first-round pick on Jalen Reagor when Justin Jefferson was sitting there waiting on us to call him. That's going to hurt for a long time.
I would tell y'all how long my co-host stayed mad about that pick, but we're still counting days.
That one hurt. That one was because the thing is, man, it's there, right? How many times have you just had a bunny in your lap? This is the equivalent of, the organization getting a wide open layup, the screen both sides, wide open layup for whatever their strong hand was. Let's assume a right-handed layup, and you put it up off the board too hard. Rod Uncensored, when you say y'all Eagles fans, you need to clarify y'all who, because Carson Wentz was soft from the beginning. He did have a great stretch the year we won the Super Bowl, but you could tell watching him on the sidelines that his psyche was cracking. Every game that we won with Nick Foles, he just looked worse and worse. So I don't know who y'all fans are that said that Carson Wentz was going to be the best quarterback out of the draft. I was questionable about him from the beginning. I did say I'm going to rock with him because he was our QB. The moment that everything switched to 100% for me was the moment that you wanted out of Philadelphia. When you no longer wanted to be an Eagle, piss on you, but
And I will say that I do know for a fact that you were never super high on the pick to begin with.
nope.
That from day one you took a we will see approach with Carson Wentz.
Hmm.
You didn't like the fact that he came from a small school. You didn't like the fact that he didn't have a ton of experience.
And like the fact when he got there that instead of being working on his game, he was out hunting when he got made the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
He in practice talking about going to shoot deer and hunt deer instead of worrying about perfecting his craft as a NFL quarterback. Those were all chinks in the armor that were shown early. So
Yes,
never was
I will. I
100%
will say
sold.
you. Yeah, you were one of the few Eagles fans I know that was not on the Carson Wentz bandwagon early. And I remember you getting many arguments with a lot of other Eagles fans about it.
Yes. And also, Rod, uncensored, I will say this to you too. The reason that so many Eagles fans were so high on Carson Wentz was the color of his skin is not the color of mine or yours, sir. And they did not want another person, the skin color of me or you, being our quarterback. Now, the fact, because last year I have never seen so much hate for our starting quarterback that I've ever seen in years. Didn't see that much hate for Rodney Peete, Jeff Garcia, you know, need I name more Kevin Cobb, right? None of those guys got the kind of hate that Jalen Hurts got from a lot of the fan base last year. And you attempted to bring that same hate into this season, but you were quickly shushed and told to sit down and don't get back up. Oh, well, you know the whole thing with Mike Vick. So I purposely didn't mention Mike Vick because they're going to throw that on. Oh, he was a dog hater and a dog abuser, and we're animal rights people, and we love animals. But really, the same thing applies. But yeah, I left him out purposely because of that. But you are completely correct, Rod. I do not disagree with you at all.
So man, it is funny, how a lot of fans don't like certain people, and then when they start winning, because now all of a sudden every Philly fan loves Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's Hurt
Everybody
season
loves
now.
Jalen Hurts. Yeah, they weren't loving Jalen Hurts last year.
You're going to experience the same thing with Trey Sermon. He comes back, he plays well, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be the same jump, of course, Hurts had because he didn't play a lot, but he comes back, he plays.
You meant Trey Lance?
Excuse me.
Us?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
sorry. I said Trey Sermon. Yeah, I meant Trey Lance. Sorry about that. With Trey Lance.
I was like, what are we talking about running backs for?
Yeah, my bad. But yes, with Trey Lance, you'll experience the same thing because he'll come back. He'll have some growing pains, of course, right? Because he's got to get him out of the way. And we'll see what happens. But to answer Rod's question, I'll let you tackle that one, sir.
Yeah. So, how many draft picks does the 49ers have? Is a question that Rod asked, and I'd have to go look at the exact number, but I believe, with D'Amico Ryan's getting hired, are now up to 4 or maybe 5 third-round comp picks. Um, we also have our own fifth rounder, a fifth-round comp pick, I think a sixth-round comp pick maybe, and 2 7s plus our own 7 a 7 we got from somebody else. So we don't have any picks in the first 2 rounds. Technically, we don't have any in the first 3 rounds outside the comp picks. So I think in total we're sitting somewhere around like 9 picks, but they're all like late round picks. But hey man, we kings of comp picks though. Tell you that much. Keep in mind too that we did lose several people this year, big free agent names, so there will be more comp picks coming. So we should end up with around like 10 or 11 total picks, I think. He says thinks the 49ers need to draft some DBs. There's a couple things there, man. So Emmanuel Mosley went down with the ACL pretty early in the season. That hurt. He's really good. A lot of potential there. Javarius Ward, really good. Yeah, he played well against Philadelphia. He made a couple of really impressive pass breakups in that game. Jimmy Ward leaving could be a big one if we're not able to bring him back. Gibson's also a free agent. Hufanga obviously is a beast back there in the secondary, but you really need a coverage guy back there with him. Um, Honestly, I'm more concerned about the safety position than I am the nickel corner because I think Senior Womack's going to step into that corner slot real easily. And Lenore actually played well at corner, and this year, he actually stepped up. A couple people tried to challenge him at the end of the year, and he held his own. So I don't think we're too bad off in the secondary, but I do think we're going to probably need a safety back there.
So I'll say this: I give you a hard time about the injuries in the game, whatever, but you guys have a lot of injuries, so I think you always should be looking, even at your strongest positions.
Oh yeah,
Let me find somebody else
oh yeah, we
because
definitely need some depth
yeah,
now. I'm
yeah,
just talking about starters, but yeah, we need
yeah.
depth
I
for
think
days.
Rod's talking about just in general. Y'all need some more DBs.
Oh yeah, yeah. If we're just talking about from a depth perspective, I 100% agree. Because all those names I just gave you, that's literally the starters. Like we ain't gonna have nobody past that. That's it. If those guys get hurt, we're screwed. The way my team is, somebody gonna get hurt. Trust me.
So y'all been snake
Again,
bitten for a few
look,
years. A lot of people
look,
snake bitten, but y'all been snake bitten
look,
for a few
look
years.
again. If you are the owner of the 49ers voodoo doll, please put it away. Thank you. Just put it out there.
I don't believe it's a voodoo doll. It may be a hex or something. I believe it's a voodoo doll.
Listen, all I know is all of this really started for us in 2019 after we went and beat the Saints in that shootout in New Orleans. That's all I know. That's why I say it's a voodoo doll, man.
This guy, man. This guy.
Bunch of jerks.
This guy.
But yeah, man. You know, he said fake Troy Polamalu. I will have you know, sir, that Troy Polamalu actually is mentoring him.
Yeah, he is.
So a big part of the reason why he looks like a fake Troy Polamalu is because that is who's actually teaching him a lot of his game. Outside of that, I mean, they have the same hair, but I mean, they're from the same place, man. That's the style. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hey,
like,
bro, I love that you call him a fake Troy Polamalu. Though that's funny though. It's still funny.
I mean, it's okay. It's not nearly as good as the Black Kirk Cousins or the White Dak Prescott, but it's okay.
Hey, everybody can't pull out the Amari Cooper one.
Yeah, but hey, all I can say to in response to that is, at least we didn't draft Mac Jones.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Fake Jimmy Garoppolo.
Wow.
I don't even know if that's a compliment or insult.
I'm taking it as an insult, so
I'll just,
I'm,
I'll just leave it at that. That's fine.
oh.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, man, my only issue with Hufanga, and I think it's something he'll get better with, is sometimes he does get a little bit too aggressive on the run, and he's gotten beat a couple times deep, or allow somebody else to get beat because they were expecting secondary help. This dude's running up on play action, so he's got to improve that. But he's still a young guy.
I just want to say, Eagles fans, we may actually be completely 100% whole come the Super Bowl. We might actually get our kicker back because our punter's been out since he got hurt.
Your kicker that was so brutally injured on that roughing the kicker penalty.
No. Aaron Sipoff's our actual punter. He got hurt like a while back. Mac Jones will be top 10 quarterback with Bill O'Brien. So there's only one person I can think of that can make Mac Jones a top 10 quarterback. His first name begins with J and his last name begins with C. And for anyone that's interested, Jesus Christ. That's the only offensive coordinator that Mac Jones the top 10. And he's not coming down in human form to be Mac Jones' offensive coordinator.
Well, I guess we know who Rod is a fan of.
We definitely know, sir.
So yeah, man. Real quick, let's talk about this Pro Bowl, man. What are your thoughts on them kind of changing up the format here and not playing a completely worthless tackle, for those kids who are doing air quotes, football game?
Um, I shout them out for at least um making changes, right? So some of the events are the skills show, which is live for the first time. So they're going to allow you to actually see it on TV live. Well, they did allow you to see it on TV, excuse me, live yesterday. They called the Pro Bowl games because if I remember correctly, I think it's going to be multiple games, right? So they do the best catch ever, the best catch finale. That's one thing. They do the
Yep.
gridiron gauntlet, which is like a side by side relay race. I'm not going into too many details.
Yeah.
You got to watch to get all the details. They do a move the chains, two teams from each conference in a weighted wall pool, showcase their strength, such and such.
Yep.
They are doing a kick tic tac toe, which is kind of interesting. Kicker, punter, and long snappers compete in a tic tac toe competition. So those are some of the things they're going to be doing. And of course, we have the multiple flag football games. I don't necessarily have a problem. I'm just glad that, like I said, something different is happening. I would like to see maybe more skills. They got the dodgeball, of course, that happened on Thursday. So I just like to see more things. Since you're really not going to have the game, I'd like to see things that different groups can compete in, right? Because we know who's coming. I mean,
Yep.
Quarterbacks are coming, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, right? We know all the positions that are coming. So I'd like to see things where each position group has a chance to do something that can do that and make that happen. So that's just something I would like to see. But I like the direction it's going. Right, it's becoming more spread out, more things happening, more guys have a chance to be seen.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you my thoughts here in a second too, but Rod,
See, we got
Sensor
some
did want
comments.
to know, and I think you were the best person to answer this question: is will Don McNabb get into the Hall of Fame? Uh, and I'm not. This may be a secondary question. Don McNabb greater than Tony Romo?
I definitely say Donovan McNabb's greater than Tony Romo. I don't think there's much question about that. Um, I would be surprised if Donovan McNabb got into the Hall of Fame. I think he's in the Hall of Very Good, and that's not a knock on him. But I think if you let everyone that's even close to possibly getting in, are we really talking about a Hall of Fame anymore? We're just basically watering down, the Hall of Fame. I don't think his career resume puts him in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
I think it puts him in the Eagles Hall of Fame, the Ring of Honor for the Eagles. You know, a guy that will get votes for the Hall of Fame, but I don't think he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. Nor do I believe. And I got a lot of love for Donovan McNabb, but nor do I believe he should.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think that's a fair way to put it. Great player, great career, but not like Hall of Fame level great.
We also got a comment on my thoughts on who the OC could be to.
Yeah, I saw that. Old Saint Nick from Bama.
uh, Maybe he could make him top 15, maybe. But if we're gonna make him top 10, we're gonna need Jesus Christ himself.
You know, those windows in college are a lot bigger. You got a lot more room for error in college.
And when you play for like Alabama, LSU for a certain period of time, some of these better teams, Clemson, you have a lot of the best players around you, so you're able to make plays that you wouldn't be able to make it to the next level.
So Rod also thinks Wes Welker is going to be a lock for the Hall of Fame.
I don't know
Kind
if
of
I'd
iffy on
say
that one.
lock.
Yeah.
Um, I think you're talking lock. You're talking guys like Chad Johnson. Terrell Owens, Randy Moss. You know, I just don't see Wes Welker in that class. Doesn't mean he won't get in, but I think Locke is a little bit of a stretch in my opinion. But hey, we all have opinions, Rob. It doesn't mean yours is wrong, bro.
Right. So yeah, so in terms of the Pro Bowl, man, for me, what I remember when I was a kid was the skills competition stuff, right? Like I never really like watched the actual Pro Bowl game, but I
True.
always like used to watch like the skills competition, and it's kind of fun. Like when you got these guys kind of during the season talking trash back and forth about who's really the fastest and all this other stuff. You know, it's cool to get to see like, okay, go line up, go race each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like let's actually see who really is the fastest. You know, or when you see guys throwing and hitting targets like 50 yards down the field, like that's kind of stuff. It's just fun to watch. And it's cool because in the past, man, the Pro Bowl game had been like this, thing where it's supposed to be like the best of the best, but it wasn't a competitive game. Nobody was really out there trying. Nobody wants to go out there and get hurt. Half the people who get invited to it don't even go. You know, you were getting Tyler Huntley invited to the Pro Bowl, and none of us really think that he's a true Pro Bowl player, right? So this to me takes away that idea of you're watering down a so-called all-star game, and this is just a way to be able to acknowledge people who had great seasons, which still doesn't explain how Tyler Huntley got in. But
Look, man, I mean,
and
so
I
I
don't mean
did
that to disrespect Tyler Huntley, but I'm just saying the numbers ain't there.
I did some research, right? So the way they did it was he was the 7th voted quarterback in the AFC. So you had him above David Carr, Trevor Lawrence. Well, Tua was hurt, so not above Tua, but Tua was hurt, and a couple other guys. I agree with you, sir. I agree with you. He is not a true number
Yeah,
one QB.
yeah. JR says not even a true QB1.
It's just the
100.
fact that he was even there is baffling. The fact that he was voted to be the 7th best quarterback in the AFC is baffling to me.
There's only one thing I can honestly say in regards to that. Kudos to Baltimore fans. Y'all showed up and you voted for your guy. It's the only explanation.
I mean, I just don't understand it. Like literally, I saw it. I'm like, how is he even on the ballot?
So Rod did say that in regards to Wes Welker, the greatest slot wide receiver ever. Here's the problem with that though. Being the best at not a position, but a sub position doesn't make you a lock for the Hall of Fame. Will he probably get in? Probably. At some point. Definitely don't feel like he's like an automatic first ballot guy.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of guys that have had to wait because you always have a log jam at wide receiver.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like you have to remember, like he's not gonna get judged as being a slot wide receiver. He's going to get judged as a wide receiver. And you got guys like Torrey Holt who haven't even got in yet.
Mm-hmm.
So will he get in? Maybe. I'm not going to sit here and say that Wes Welker definitely not going to be a Hall of Famer because he definitely has a chance to get in, but I'm just not ready to call him a lock. I mean, like look at some of the names right now. Reggie Wayne is on the list. Andre Johnson is on the list. Torrey Holt is on the list. These are guys who are in the 15 finalists this year. There were some really great people.
Rod does say Lynn Swan was a slot wide receiver. So the fact that you basically said Wes Welker was greater than Lynn Swan, I'm gonna let you judge how you feel about that, Rob. I'm not even gonna touch it. I'm gonna let you judge how you feel about that.
Yeah, you're just gonna say it out loud and let me hear it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it so that number one, people listen to the podcast can hear it, and number two, Rod can actually hear someone say it and not just think it in his mind.
I feel you. That's fair. So we do have some couple of NBA notes to touch on real quick, man. But before we do that, I wanted to kind of touch on these NFL coaching hires that we've
Yes, sir.
seen. So obviously the big one, the Sean Payton hire, right? What are your thoughts on that one?
Um, it's the most anticlimactic hiring I've heard in a while. It was going to have to be him. I think you could have tried to go with DeMeco Ryans, and the reports say that they did, but
Hmm.
this was the guy you needed for Russell Wilson. You needed a guy who has experience with a diminutive quarterback, getting guys when people kind of started to write them off and putting them in the right positions to kind of resurrect their career for a few years, a la Mr. Drew Brees with a bad shoulder. So I think, you know, this is the guy you want if you want to try to get the most to maximize Russell Wilson over this next 4 or 5 years. Now, we'll say this: Russell Wilson, just stop talking. Stop trying to endear yourself to Broncos fans and Broncos Nation. Just be Russell Wilson and let it ride. Don't stop the endearment and all that. It's not working out for you the way that you think it is, sir.
Yeah, man, I do want to point out that the narrative out there, and we're not surprised by this, but the narrative is funny to me because even going back to last season, they already started talking about Russ. And people ask me, okay, you saw Russ twice a year, every single year for years. Do you think that he's washed up, or do you think that it was the coaching staff? And my answer was, I think it's a little bit of both, right? I think that Russell Wilson is not the player he once was, but we also were saying that the last couple of years in Seattle, that he would have a half a good season and then fall off. And that was an indictment that he wasn't the player he once was. But that was also a horrible scheme fit. And his coach was completely clueless on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets are going to find that out. Um, but the thing that to me that's funny is right now, the question is, can Sean Payton fix Russell Wilson? And I don't like that. I'm not even a Russell Wilson fan, right? I mean, the guy's beat us enough times that I probably feel like I kind of hate him, to be honest. Um, but I don't appreciate the fact that you're basically saying that if Russell Wilson goes out and has a great season, that it's because of Sean Payton. And if he goes out there and has a bad season, it's because of Russell Wilson and Sean Payton couldn't save him. I don't think that's right.
You know how it goes, man. With certain players and certain teams, man, it is what it is.
So
We'll touch Rod's comment. If you want to go ahead and
I'm,
do
I'm
it now,
gonna
we can.
I'm gonna put this up on the screen, but we'll come back to this when we start talking about the NBA here in just a minute. I just want to go. I want to get through the rest of these coaching hires, but I just wanted to acknowledge you, Rob. We'll come back to it. I'm a Lakers fan too. I'm just gonna tell you ahead of time. So DeMeco Ryans went to the Texans. I don't know how I feel about this one, to be honest. I think for the Texans, it's a great hire. Obviously, I wish they were able to keep him, but I've known this was going to happen, right? I mean, it was going to take him not liking any of the jobs out there for this not to be the case. The reason I say I don't know how to feel about it, man, is we've had two other coaches who share say a similarity with the Biko Ryans in Houston the last 2 years that have not had their you know tenures end well. I don't know that this organization has their stuff together, and that's what concerns me for D'Amico Ryans right now. But in terms of draft picks, in terms of some of the young pieces that are there, in terms of the cap space, in terms of a lot of that stuff, there is a lot to work with there. So if the organization can get their stuff together, then we'll see what happens with that, right? Um, but I think in terms of if you were the Houston Texans and the guys that are out there for you, this was your home run pick.
I think this is a guy that Houston's wanted for the last few years. I think Cutcliffe was in the NBA, I mean NFL, excuse me, came to him and said, "You need to make a black hire," right? With the whole thing going on, um, with the Dolphins and that whole situation. I think Lovey was a safe hire because he was a guy that has been a head coach before, was already on the staff. It was easy to plug and play. I think he kind of knew he was a one and done guy. And I also believe that this was the right hire for the Texans. I think he will be a guy that will get his contract. He'll get to run through it. He'll get the opportunity. He's well respected. He played for the team. He's a guy that if you fire him for some foolishness, I don't believe he's going to sit on the sidelines long. He'll be right back somewhere else because I think he'll still be a hot commodity because we know how the Texans have ran themselves in the ground. But maybe this is the start of the turnaround. Maybe getting the guy that you've been wanting and coveting for a while is the start of the turnaround. So, hopefully it'll work out.
And then we talked about the other hire already last week. So if you want to hear our thoughts about Frank Wright, you can go back and listen to last week's episode.
Now, I want to add one thing about him, if you don't mind, sir.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. Go ahead.
So, Frank Wright got hired, and I said that I thought it was a horrible pick, and why in the world did you hire him? He made one hire, and now I'm going to shut up about Frank Wright.
Okay.
Frank Wright went and got a guy that's going to be a monster offensive coordinator for him, that's going to motivate his team and have all the respect, and Deuce Staley. Deuce Staley was a long-time assistant in Philadelphia. Should have been an offensive coordinator on the current team. Should have been an offensive coordinator before then. When he left, he should have been an offensive coordinator in Detroit. So Frank Wright going and recognizing the quality of this guy and what he's going to be able to do for your offense. And let's be honest, as a black play caller, which he's probably going to call plays, he's going to be there 4 or 5 years. He's going to have to take that team really deep and make it a great team before he even gets an opportunity to be hired somewhere. So this was a very smart hire for Frank Wright. And if you're going to turn the offense over to him, I'm going to not say you should be fired before you even coach the team. So I'm going to backtrack due to his first hire. He's impressed me with that.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I will just say, Carolina, thank you. Because we will be interviewing Steve Wilks next week for our defensive coordinator position. So appreciate you. Thanks. Appreciate it.
He should take the Arizona job.
He should take the Arizona job. Didn't you already have
Hey,
that
man,
one?
if anybody can turn it around, he might have.
Ain't that where you got fired from the first time?
I'd have to look back. If that is, then never
Pretty
mind.
sure that's where you got fired from the first time, sir.
Oh, well, yeah, I wouldn't take that again now. I was thinking he was somewhere else, but it probably was Arizona.
So I will just throw out one final coaching note. There's rumors that Eric Bieniemy is considering taking an offensive coordinator job somewhere else where he has an opportunity to actually go and call plays. Good call.
You know what I find funny about that? If you watch the Chiefs games, Andy Reid is sitting over there bloviating when the offense is on the field. Eric Bieniemy is on his thing with the play calling sheet up, but there's still this narrative that he doesn't call plays. And I'm not saying he calls all the plays all the time, but he's clearly calling over half of the plays. But I think he understands that for him to get a head coaching job, he needs to go somewhere where the perception is not there, because that perception is not reality, but perception is reality. So I think people perceive that he's not the play caller. But if you watch the game, watch the Super Bowl, you look over on that sideline when they're on the field on offense, you're going to see Bieniemy with a play sheet up. You're going to see him covering his face. You're going to see his thing there. You're going to see his lips moving and talking. You're going to see Andy Reid standing over there looking around, looking like he's thinking about what he's going to eat after the game. So you tell me who's calling plays.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Bieniemy might be like the biggest mystery in coaching, right? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But so yeah, moving over to the NBA, man. So got a couple of comments from Rod here. So obviously the big news today is Kyrie Irving has officially told the Nets he wants out. He wants out before the trade deadline. So Rod says that Kyrie's coming to the Lakers, and that the Lakers are going to make it to the NBA Finals this year, and that AD will win the Finals MVP. Hashtag King James coming. So I'm a Lakers fan. So I'm going to give my thoughts here. Do the Lakers have the talent to go out and win the NBA championship this year? If LeBron is healthy and not worn down by that time, if AD can actually stay healthy and stay on the court, if you're able to flip Russell Westbrook somehow and get Kyrie, yeah, the Lakers absolutely would have the talent to go out there and win an NBA championship this year. I don't think any of that's going to happen, but it's possible. I realize the fact that I'm something that a lot of people aren't, and that's a realistic Lakers fan. Too much relies on Anthony Davis staying healthy. And that's the part that concerns me because he hasn't proven he can do it. The 1 year that we won a championship with him, and I said it at the time, it was the bubble year where they had like a 3-month break. And my co-host would tell you, I told people, oh yeah, we winning the championship. You done gave Anthony Davis and LeBron James 3 months off to rest up? Y'all done. We're not getting 3 months off this time. I just don't think those two guys are going to be able to hold up long enough to beat some of the better teams in the league in a 7-game series. The talent is there, but the health is not. That's just my thoughts on it. I'm not counting them out. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but it's not. I wouldn't put money on it. Let's put it that way.
So I had to mute myself just to ensure that I kept my composure from this blasphemy that's in our chat now. Okay. So let me say this. You could call me a hater. People call me worse. Don't really care. But I think I'm a realist when I look at NBA teams and NFL teams, whether it's my team, whether it's not my team. A little fandom might slide in if it's my team, but I try to be realistic in what I expect from a team. Last time that I checked, the problem that many players have had trying to play alongside LeBron James, Kyrie Irving himself included, is the ball dominance of LeBron James, which is on display all the time. I think half of Rod's NBA prediction, still stuck in my mind, NBA prediction, the Bucks, I think that half will come to fruition. I think when we look at the other half, I think it's realistic to say the Lakers are going to probably be a little bit better if everyone stays healthy than they are now. When you look in the West, there's definitely been a change in the guard. And my Denver Nuggets are at the top right now, but still a lot of season to play. They may not stay there. If they do, awesome. If they don't, as long as we can stay in that the upper echelon, top 2 or 3, I'm happy. But the problem is you still haven't fixed the ball dominance of LeBron James, because that's why Russ doesn't fit. Russell Westbrook is a guy that's going to turn the ball over. Russell Westbrook is a guy that's going to take bad shots. But Russell Westbrook seems to be better the more he has the ball in his hands. The less he plays with LeBron James, the better he normally is. Why can't your best point guard play with your other best player in LeBron? Obviously, AD is not a problem. It's LeBron. The other thing is I keep hearing that the Lakers need shooting. Is Kyrie Irving going to provide that outside shooting? I don't believe so. So how does he really fix the problem? You get a younger, less defensive version of Russell Westbrook. And I'm not saying Russell Westbrook goes out there and tries really hard on defense, but Kyrie Irving is not going to play defense for you. Kyrie Irving is going to go out and give you 30, 25, I say like 22 to 30 points a game. He's probably going to give up 20 to 25 himself because he's not going to play much defense. So you're going to downgrade defense. Let's say you were to be able to make this swap. You're going to probably have to give up a player like a Lonnie Walker and probably a coveted first-round draft pick, because at some point LeBron's going to leave, whether it's to retire or whether it's to go find out wherever Bronny's playing. So you're going to need to rebuild and get talent. You're the Lakers, so the argument's always, oh, we can sign people. But as you see, getting young guys on rookie contracts that you can plug in and play like a Austin Reeves has been good for the Lakers and some other guys. That's important. But you can't do that if you don't have picks to draft them. You've already given away a plethora of second-round picks to get Rui Hachimura, who has played well for you overall since being traded. It's going to take some time, of course, but he still doesn't solve the shooting problem. Kyrie doesn't solve your shooting problem. Kyrie's not going to make you better defensively. Those are the two things that you had even in the bubble year when you won, and other years you won championships. You're not bringing in that with Kyrie. So you're not fixing the true problems. So that's not going to take you to a championship if you're a Laker fan.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree with you. I mean, I do feel like Kyrie's going to give you more shooting than what Westbrook does, but again, so Ross says Kyrie Irving and LeBron James kill the Warriors. They beg KD to come to the Bay to stop the King. Nuggets ain't going nowhere. Stop the cap. So here would be my question for you, Rob. Legitimate question. Are you a Lakers fan or are you a LeBron fan?
I keep hearing a lot of Kangs.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of Kangs.
Yeah, I'm not hearing a lot about the Lakers, just the Kang.
I'm getting LeBron vibes is what I'm getting here.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting LeBron lover vibes. And, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. The year that KD ran to the Warriors was the year the Warriors spanked them in the Western Conference Finals before they got to the championship. So I don't think they begged Kevin Durant to come. I think Kevin Durant said, I want to come. And they're like, all right, cool. If you want to come, bet. I mean, you'll be an upgrade from Harrison Barnes, but we ain't begging you to come because we could win with Harrison Barnes. LeBron and Kyrie, they did win a championship, but it was like one. And then Kyrie was like, I want to be out.
Here's the other thing we have to be realistic about, right? That was a long time ago.
A real long time ago.
Way back in '94. So even going back to LeBron's last championship in LA, it was 3 years ago, guys. Okay. LeBron is not getting any younger. And look, what LeBron is doing at his age is crazy.
Phenomenal.
Is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Nothing but respect to what he's going out there doing on a nightly basis in year. How long has he been in the freaking league now? Is this 20? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right?
I think it's 20.
But an 82-game season, 7-game playoff series. I just don't know that there's going to be enough mileage left on the tires at the end of the season. Now, a healthy AD, that does change things. Because I think we will both agree a healthy AD can go out there and carry the team.
Yeah, a healthy AD helps you get back into the top 6, right?
The problem is he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
That's the problem with AD. Until he can prove that he can stay healthy, I can't give him the benefit of the doubt.
There's a reason why it's called street clothes.
Yeah, I can't give him the benefit of the doubt. But I would agree that if he can do it, the talent is there. He says MJ couldn't perform at 38 years old like LeBron.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That's factual information.
But what does it have to do with LeBron being able to still compete at this level in the NBA Finals?
Well, it's because LeBron fans, which he's definitely showed us that's what he is at this point, don't seem to understand that LeBron has the benefit of sports science to help him still play at this level. And that doesn't mean that you discount what he's done, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you go back and say, oh, because LeBron has played up until 38 and he's still playing at a high level, that means he's better than everybody else. No, that means he's in a time where when you spend the money, you can prolong your career. And that's cool. Like, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. And I think it's amazing that LeBron's been able to do what he's been able to do. And I think off the court, also, there's never been a lot of drama in the personal life. He's kept everything close to the hip. He's been a good dad, been a good husband, good teammate, open a school, always positive, right? So
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of positive things about LeBron James, but I think at his age, to expect him to have to be a major contributor on a team that's going to win a championship, that window's kind of starting to close, right?
I mean, we saw last year.
Yeah,
We saw what happened last year. He couldn't get out the first round because he just doesn't have it in him to carry the team at that point in the season anymore.
yeah,
He
and then
needs
go
AD
out
to be healthy.
back to back and have to be that focal point guy. It's not the same for him anymore, and
Yeah, yeah. I
it's
mean,
it
look,
is amazing.
we all saw against the Suns. AD healthy and playing, they had the Suns beat. They had that series won, and as soon as AD went down, it was a wrap. And
Yeah, you have
and that's not a knock on LeBron. Like
no,
you
it's
said, the
not.
man 38.
Yeah, you have to kind of temper the expectations to a degree. I think we're trying to look at, well, not we, but I think you guys that are diehard LeBron fans are trying to look at 5 year ago LeBron and act like this is still the same guy, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's where like some of the ridiculous proclamations come in. There are people out there who say LeBron is trash and whatever, and there's people out there say Jordan is trash, and they go through all that foolishness. Neither one of these guys are trash. They're both great players. They play in different eras. They had access to different things. The game's changed. That's not a knock on LeBron either, because everybody's playing in the same era. I don't I don't really deal with the whole who this person's goat, that person's goat. I think you have the greatest player of each era. You have the greatest of
Hmm.
your era, and that's how you could determine like who the best players are. I mean, I don't care
Yeah.
who you if you rank Jordan 1, Jordan 3, Kareem 1, Wilt 1, Shaq 1, Magic 1, Bird, whoever you want to rank. But you can't have a top 5 greatest players of all time and not have Michael Jeffrey Jordan on that list. LeBron James should be on that list as well. There's 3 other slots. You could put James 5, Jordan 2, James 4, Jordan 5, whatever. I mean, I really don't care, right? Because it's
Yeah.
just your personal opinion at that point.
Right.
But acknowledge the errors, man. Let's go back and give guys love that played in other eras, because the game has evolved a lot. It's become a lot easier to score. It's become a lot easier to get to the free throw line and get points that way. It's like the game is pushing towards, we want more scoring, we want more records broken, we want more guys having these amazing stats. So let's
Yeah.
not judge people that play today by the same criteria we would guys that played 20, 30 years ago when the game was different, or played 40 and 50 years ago when the game was different. And then
Yeah.
again, that's not to take away anything from the guys today, but it's clearly a different game. So how can you judge someone that's playing a different game the same way you judge somebody that played a much more bruising, aggressive game where you had to about bleed to get a foul call?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, man, and to me, it really kind of solidifies what a guy like Kareem did.
Hmm.
Just knowing the style of play, but that doesn't take away. I mean, LeBron, barring a career-ending injury in the next couple of nights, is going to break Kareem's record, right?
Yep.
So we all know what's coming. I would say like 3 games max. So really by the end of the week, by the ninth, I think would be the third game that they're gonna be playing. He should have it, unless he ends up taking a night off or something for
Or
rest.
slow down so he can do it at a specific game. I think it's going to be a home game so Kareem can be there.
But they got so the next game is on the road tomorrow, and then they got back to back home games. Against the Bucks, actually is on the ninth. So the Bucks actually seems the most likely. If he averages about 25 points a game in the next 2 games, he only needs about 16 points. He only needs 63 points right now. So, I think that like you said, I think that he's gonna want to try to go ahead and get it done at home and all that good stuff. So I don't have any issues with LeBron. I like LeBron. I think he's a great player, but we do need to be realistic about where he is in his career,
Yeah.
and it's a lot closer to the end than the beginning.
Or the middle.
Yeah. So before we wrap up here, man, because we actually went pretty far over tonight, but 2 quick stories I want to touch on. So number one, the women's Duke basketball head coach has launched a complaint because she says that not the last game they won against Pitt, but the game before that against Florida State, where they lost by like 20 points. She's claiming that they played the first half of that game with a men's basketball. And she said that it is I forget what the exact word was, but basically insinuated that it is a disgrace that this was allowed to happen. But there's a couple of problems. Number one, the ACC said that they investigated and they found absolutely zero evidence that men's basketball was actually used. The second thing is, I don't understand what she actually was expecting to get out of this. She tried to appeal the game, which I'm assuming means she tried to like get the loss thrown out or something. But it's like, didn't both teams play with the same ball? So I don't get this story, man. It's a weird story.
All I have to say is next. That's all I have to say next.
Well, next, man, we have a really juicy one. So there is a quarterback. His name is Marcus. I want to say Spears, but I don't think that's right. It doesn't matter. He was a commit to the University of Florida. White guy, just to be clear. Okay. He was seen on video rapping along to a song that included the N word, which he actually said. Now, I hang around enough black people to know that there are varying opinions about this particular use of the N word. Not here to get into whether people think it's right, wrong, whatever. Okay. Florida did what pretty much the only thing they could do in today's climate, and they rescinded their offer to him. But what happened next is truly inexcusable. He received 3 scholarship offers, 2 of them from HBCUs, Albany State and Alabama A&M. The backlash that came down, I don't know how Alabama and A&M managed to avoid all the backlash, but Albany State, not so much. They ended up having to rescind their offer, and their coach came out and issued an apology. I'm just like, in today's society, with all of the focus that we have on this kind of stuff, how could you even bring yourself to do this?
Do anything for clout chasing. It's what that was. Nothing more. They knew he wasn't going to come, but they're in the news talking about him. We're talking about Albany State and Alabama A&M. How often do we talk about them?
All clout for the wrong reasons, though.
Any publicity is good publicity.
I don't know about that one in this case. I mean,
do anything for clout.
That's just crazy. Like,
there's no other reason.
Yeah, that just blows my mind. It really just blows my mind. But guess what? They got the message. They caught that backlash.
Still talking about them though. They got what they wanted.
Hey man, I don't know if that talking about is going to get them any extra money.
I don't
know if it's going to get them any extra recruits. I don't know if it's going to get them anything extra. If it does, then hey, kudos to you. Y'all made a business decision.
Could be no other reason. I don't think there could be any other reason.
Hope it worked out for you. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, man. So that's it. So next week, obviously, NBA trade deadline will be passing next Thursday. So we will be talking about all the exciting things that occurred Does Kyrie end up in LA? Will LeBron have already broken Kareem's record by then? Who knows? But if any of it happens, we'll be talking about it next Friday. And oh yeah, there's this other thing going on that we'll be talking about called the Super Bowl.
I heard of that.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that a little bit too. So
Run it.
Y'all come hang out with us next Friday night for all of those conversations, plus whatever else happens. Because remember, there's still some NFL coaching vacancies out there to be filled too. That might happen this week. So we'll be talking about all that and a little bit more. Appreciate everybody who tuned in live tonight, especially those in the chat. If you haven't already, please go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and then you might as well go and hit the share button while you're there. You know what I'm saying?
Wise, what it do?
What's up? So yeah, that's what it is, man. Next Friday night, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, or of course you can catch us anytime on your favorite podcast apps. I'm gonna go ahead and give my co-host final words tonight, and I think I already know what they're gonna be.
Flag, let's go.